With a new season on the horizon, I head into the club to inform the management team that I would be resigning from my position as club manager. The club would ask me to reconsider, but my mind was already made up. I said my final goodbyes and departed CD Honduras for the final time. With no firm plans for the future, I would log on to the job centre to see what positions could be available. Keeping an open mind on location, I needed to decide whether to continue in Central America to try and capture the CONCACAF Champions Cup or have a complete change of scenery by managing on a different continent. After much soul searching, the decision I made would be to move to Egypt as I take up the manager's position at ZFC. They are a team that play in the highest ranked league in African football and should provide an instant challenge at this stage of my career. ZFC have only been in their current form since 2020 and are yet to win a trophy. The board laid out their vision to move the club forward as they expect a mid-table finish. The finances at the club make for grim reading as we find ourselves £796,000 in debt with no transfer budget and are overspent on wages. We are going to have to rely on our youth setup to take the club forward. One other interesting thing about ZFC is they share owners with Aston Villa and also have a link up with Borussia Dortmund. It'll be interesting to see what we can make of that link up. As I got fully acquainted with my brand new team, I would begin to prepare for my first season in Egyptian football. As I settled in and got to work, I made it my priority to help the club's finances and improve my squad. I managed to do both by moving some players on. Firstly, we would receive £950,000 for Eslam Al-Badawi, who moves to Al Riyadh. Next to leave was Mohamed Awad, who was allowed to join S Tunis for a fee of £1 million, rising to 1.3. And finally, we would allow Dilson to join Caboose Corp in Angola for £30,000. This meant that we now had £817,000 in the bank and £358,000 to add new faces. First to arrive would be Mahmoud Abdul Aziz, a 19-year-old Egyptian under-20 international centre-back for £120,000. Next up, I went back to my scouting network in the United States as I signed Gary Hunt, a 20-year-old American centre-forward, and 19-year-old Brazilian Jefferson Villanovas, both from Nashville's academy. The final two signings were both loans, as we utilised our link-up with Aston Villa to sign 18-year-old defensive midfielder Matt Saunders, and Borussia Dortmund's 19-year-old right-winger William Wright. With the new faces looking to get settled in, it seemed I had found a great balance to my team. Despite feeling optimistic going into the season, I would be welcomed to the Egyptian Premier League in brutal fashion as my team began the campaign in poor form. We would suffer 3 losses and a draw in the opening 4 matches as the step up in league quality seemingly showed. With 2 1-0 defeats to Pyramids and Petrojet, a 4-2 defeat to Zamalek and a 2-2 draw with Aswan, we find ourselves second bottom of the league on 1 point and already 11 behind the league leaders. Luckily for me though, it would be lucky match number 5 as I finally tasted victory in Egypt with a win over Al Ali thanks to goals from Mohamed Imam and Gary Hunt. Our season was finally underway. With a shift in momentum, I would push the team on further into the season. As we reached the halfway point in the season, our league form showed signs for optimism. After our slow start in the Egyptian League, we would string together a run of results which included a 5-game unbeaten streak before a 2-0 loss to Future. We would then win 3 on the bounce thanks to wins against Ceramica Cleopatra, National Bank and Arab Contractors. After 16 league games, we are now sat in a comfortable 7th place as I formulate a plan to reduce the 19-point gap to the league leaders. We also kicked off the Egyptian League Cup campaign in a group with Future, Pyramids and CCFC. We would pick up 1 win against Ceramica Cleopatra as well as 2 draws against Future and Pyramids. This set us up with a tie against Al Ali, where sadly we exit the competition at the semi-final stage. There were also a few other things of note happening along the way too. Firstly, I would acquire my Continental A licence and be cheeky enough to request the next licence straight away. The board drove a hard bargain, but I finally got them to agree. There was also a takeover at the club, as new chairman Kamal Abu Ali takes over and instantly tells me he was going to sack me. But thankfully, he changed his mind. There was a real optimism that we could build upon an up and down start to the season. I was determined to close down that gap to the leaders. We would kick off the second half of the season with back-to-back victories. First, there was a crazy back and forth game as we beat Ghazal Al Mahala 4-3. We then turned in possibly our best performance of the season to date in a 6-1 demolition of Petrojet. At this stage of the season, the FA Cup also began as we beat Farco 3-0 in round 1, Petrojet 3-1 in the round of 16 game. In the quarter-finals, we had the luck of the draw with us as we would come up against Wadi Degla of the 2nd Division and dispatched of them comprehensively 7-0. Sadly for us though, our hopes of winning the cup came crashing down in the semi-finals as we were knocked out 3-2 in extra time by Arab contractors. This now meant our full focus was on the league as we began to find a run of form. We would go on a 7-game winning streak to ensure that we were climbing the league table for the final push at the run-in. When the final whistle blew on matchday 34, the league would come to its conclusion and confirm that I had managed a 5th place league position in my first season at the club. Considering how this league campaign had started, I was satisfied that this could be a building block for next season. Looking in the data hub would be quite revealing. Due to the goals from our attacking options, we would average 2.41 goals per game, but defensively we would need to improve, so this must become my focus for next year. Gary Hunt had been brilliant in his first season at the club. The American scored 18 goals in 43 games. Jefferson Villanovas had a solid season but struggled at times. It'll be interesting to see how he develops for season 2. William White had a great season and we will miss his output as he returns to Dortmund. And the same goes for Matt Saunders, who heads back to England. Despite my best efforts to balance the books at the start of the year, the club's finances are still in a poor state. The new owner invested very little, meaning season 2 at the club could be relying on our youth academy. My first season in Egypt would be a tale of two halves. It's clear that our early season form had cost us as we finished the season with a flourish. There is real optimism that we can kick on and do even better in season 2. As the sun sets on my first season in Egypt, I'm aware there is plenty of work to be done as I look to bounce back from the disappointment of my first trophyless season.